The other day, I stopped at a fruit shop to buy some grapes. So the older man who owned the shop came forward and obliged me. "Beautiful grapes," he said. So I took them. But when I arrived home, I discovered that they were past their use-by date. I had taken him at his word. He looked genuine, but the grapes were no good. With grapes, they're either good or they're bad. They're either edible or they're inedible. Just what we want, or just what we don't want. Right date, or past their date. So it caused me to reflect on my job. I wonder about my job. Of course, I don't sell grapes or grain or other small goods. I can't look at my job sheet at the end of the week and say, "You see, I sold 2 trucks and 3 trailers this week." I don't work at a service station down the street, and therefore I'm not troubled by the owner of the service station pestering me that sales are down this week and I should do more to lift the sales. I don't have to be at the wholesale fish market at 4 a.m. each day. And I don't have to calculate the takings at the end of the day. Even in this place, somebody else does that. My job is at none of those. My job, putting words together. What a strange job to have. In one sense, what a difficult job to have. In some sense, what a thankless job in many ways. What a draining job. The words that will bring comfort, perhaps, to that person's sorrow when 50 other people have no sorrow. Words that will bring hope, to lift a person out of the doldrums and try again when other people are not in the doldrums. My job is about finding words that will somehow jump across the space like a spark will jump across the space between us. A word that we know can so easily damage or delight. A word that can leave us wondering about so much pain in life, or a word that can lift us to wonder that there are moments that give us great pleasure in life. My job is a job of words. I'm a steward of words. Encouraging, persuading people to see and study the power of words, the wisdom of words, the wonder of words. Your Bible says, "In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God." Now, I've got to tell you, I've heard many theologians and preachers go on that particular passage, wasting their time because none of us was really listening. What did it mean? The Word. Is it the Word, or are we talking about words? The Word was with God, and the Word was God. The wisdom, the wonder of the Word, just one word can do it. In the last book of the Bible, let me start again. I'm still in the first book of the Bible, the book of Genesis. In the later book of the Bible, it says, chapter of the Bible, it says, there in the lines in which there are 4 words followed by 4 words. It says this: there was darkness over the face of the earth, darkness and chaos of the abyss. And then a word was spoken, four words, followed by those other four words. God said, so the Bible said, let there be light. The first four. And the second four. And there was light. We search for light. We don't want to live in darkness. We search for enlightenment because we don't want to live in the darkness. We search for that way, the power of a word. If only we could hear that word. If only we could find that word. If only we could embrace that word when we most need it. If only we could live that word. The word that will lift us out of our closed state and open us to see things differently. My job is a job of miracles. The miracles of words that can change everything. A word that will help us see the whole world differently. A world that will help you be the person to embrace your unique destiny. In our youth, my youth, your youth, we might have read of the unfolding of life's wonders. And the Bible said, as the wonders of the world were being unfolded, God said it was good. God saw that it was good. God saw that it was good. But in our old age, we are frequently inclined to be grizzled up in our discontent. But the word still comes to us. On the last of days, God said, it was very good. Very good. But was it? Would we say that? We need our doctors. We need our dentists and nurses to repair our damaged places and to help us cope with our diseases. We need our politicians to plot the pathways, hopefully, to a peaceful world. We need good people to do our buying and our selling. We need people to build our bridges and our highways, our airports and our scenic places. But above all, we need people to become stewards of words. Words that will give a powerful direction to the way we might live. Words that will give character to our conversation. Because so easily our words can deteriorate, degenerate. I've thought repeatedly of the many addresses and speeches and sermons I've heard over a lifetime, lived in several countries. Now, there are some specific exceptions to what I'm about to say. But what I'm about to say is this. Of all the words I've heard, there are very few that I can remember. They've come and they've gone. So today, this day, here is an experiment. I'm going to speak today of four words to remember for the rest of your life. There's the miracle. For the rest of your life. And the experiment is to ask you to do something that you won't do, but it's just an experiment worth trying. I'm going to ask you to write to me and tell me what those four words were in 20 years' time. Four words. Oh, excuse me, 4 plus 1. In academia these days, they don't like to settle for 4. They say, no, 4 plus 1. 5 plus 1, 3 plus 1. So I put plus 1. 4 words plus 1 equals 5. So let's take number 1. Our human existence, we know, is often sprayed with ugly, unpleasant words, often sprayed with ugly, unpleasant experiences. We look for a word to soften the unpleasant and the ugly. Many people, many of us, succumb to the power of injustice, of unpleasantness, to the power of contaminating discontent. But one word can soften it. A word that speaks to us of an act of kindness. A word that speaks to us of a beautiful painting. A word that takes us into the Mingari garden. That says, out of all the traumas and tragedies that you can go through and the troubles, pause a moment in the quietness of Mingari. The colours of quietness will soften you. You see, all too quickly you might say, yes, there are things that soften, but what are they? What are they? I often say to people, we're going to pause for a while and see if we can write down those words. We need to name them. Name the things that soften our difficult realities. Because all too quickly we can be fixated on the frustration, on the bad things that have happened. You hear it in the courts almost every day, certainly every week. We can never forgive them for what they've done. There's no softness here. They can rot in jail for the rest of their day. Whatever. What are your softeners? The softeners for you, the softeners for others. Let it be a quiet place. Let it be a valued picture. Let it be a good story. Let it be some beautiful music, such as you've heard today. Let it be a person. Listen. A person somewhere just might speak a soft word. I told you last week that I was to launch Howard Doss's book on Kazantzakis, a very moving novelist, if ever there was one. Kazantzakis, amongst many other things, wrote about the abyss from which we all come, the darkness before we were born. And he spoke of the abyss to which we all eventually go, our death, and after our death, the abyss. But he said there's something in between the abyss 1 and the abyss 2. We can easily be overwhelmed by the abyss and its darkness. But in between the abyss, there is, said Kazantzakis, the ascent. Human beings can ascend out of their darkness to be different human beings, to be softer human beings, to be human beings with a great purpose in life. So the first word, you've got it. Second, we all know that life surely carries some profoundly painful events. Physical, mental, social, spiritual. Is there any soothing for our pain? Yes, there is. We ask, why then is there pain? That's not a question we can really answer. What we know is that there is pain. There will be pain. So rather ask, how can I find some real soothing for my pain? And how can I, by a word, convey some soothing to another in their pain? So the second word, recognize the soothing word. Use the soothing word. Speak the soothing word. Live the soothing word. And the third. Last Friday, my other grandson, Jacob, sent me a text message saying that Friday was the last day of his school life. So sensitive to the occasion and how important such a day is, I stopped and thought, what word can I send him? When, in the words of the latest Nobel Prize winner, the times they are changing. So I sent him Stephen Gillett's words, or words attributed to Stephen Gillett. I expect to pass through this world but once. Any good thing, therefore, that I can do or any kindness that I can show to any fellow creature, let me do it. Let me do it now. Let me not defer or neglect it, for I shall not pass this way again. So I sent it. Immediately, Jacob sent me a message. Dr. John Barry Morley's poetic words. Old times, gone times. New times come. Old fears lurk behind the tombstones, hiding from the sun of this new season. Whatever our time in life, whatever the turning point that we may have reached, it's important to be steady. Steady. Look for the ways to steady. What do the people on board ship say? Steady as she goes. Steady. Number 4. Simple. Be strong. Know your strengths. Do you know your strengths? Develop your strengths. Have you developed them? Can you control your strengths? St. Paul used the word many times. In uncertainty and in conflict, in turbulence and in trouble, be strong, he said. But what did it mean? You can draw strength from many sources. Somewhere beyond us, strength comes to us. Somewhere between us, we find strength. Somewhere within ourselves, we discover strength. Sometimes we discover strength we did not know we had. Sometimes we discover strength is waiting for us to uncover it. Strengths come. I mentioned last week a funeral over which I was presiding, and Isaacson's funeral held in the family home. And the family dog kept watch as each member of the family came forward and paid their tribute to their mother, their grandmother, their wife. And as the coffin was wheeled out of the house, the dog, who had watched every movement, placed himself beside each speaker, then followed the coffin out of the house. There was a memorial service held for her just on Thursday, and I told the large congregation in St. John's, Toorak, of that dog's behaviour in the family home a week before, doing its part to give each person a different strength. Yes, and so when I came to the end of my panegyric at the memorial service, it was over. Do you realize that dog came up to me with apparent recognition and excitement, as if to say, thanks for remembering to give me a mention. For years, that dog had brought softness, soothing, steadiness, and strength to that whole family. Troubled for more than 70 years by disablement within the household. So 4 words to remember for the next 25 years. Softeners, soothers, steadying influences, strengths. I said +1. But before I go to the +1, would you check your cupboard? Before I move on, check your cupboard. Do you have those 4 in your cupboard? Soothers, softeners, steadiers, strengtheners. Doesn't matter which order, any order will do. Do you have them in your cupboard? Because then you can go to +1, the 1 extra. Be sure to make a new start. That's difficult. Be ready to give meaning to the ascent after the dark patches of the abyss. Be ready to give a new shape to your life. You remember my word, the word that I have invented for reshaping, reshapealescence, to shape and reshape. After your good news, go on and reshape the character and direction of the next phase of your life. After your mistakes, reshape your life in the awareness of a positive self-compassion, self-forgiveness, self-acceptance. After whatever has happened, remember 4 + 1. Soften, soothe, steady, strengthen, reshape. All words, just words, but words have life and energy. They speak to the very best of our human existence and our human character. If there are words to speak of God, these are the words you could use. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. What was the Word? If there are 5 words worth carrying into your next 25 years, take these words. God words. Soften, soothe, strengthen, steady, reshape. Would you please stand? Say with me, Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. The blessing. May the God you see in all the colours of creation arouse in you a sense of awe and wonder. May the God who is a sacred presence be real to you. May the God who is a source of inspiration and courage keep calling you forwards. May your God go with you and bless you today and always.